World premiere.
I am here at an Oceanic Cup player's house and I'm trying the Wooting 60 HE V2, the same keyboard I used during the session that broke Osu history. Let's go.
Yo, what's good? How's it going, bro?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Good, bro. Is that the new Wooting?
Yeah, it's the new wing.
Can't wait to play with this.
Yeah, dude.
It's kind of heavy though.
Yeah, low key, it's pretty heavy. So yeah, we're just gonna go straight into playing with it. Are you excited?
I'm so excited. Let's get it.
Let's get it. Alright, let's jump right in.
The 60HE V2 comes with adjustable actuation, rapid trigger, an 8000 Hz polling rate, and the new Le Critique switches, giving it that premium feel.
What are your first impressions?
Dude, low key, this keyboard is so smooth.
We're kind of assessing right now. Bro.
If you would like to check out the Wooting 60HE V2, links are in the description. Also, I'm running a tournament called the Oceanic Cup where Wooting is currently sponsoring the event, so make sure to check that out too.
Yo! No way!
That's the keyboard, baby. That's the
Bro,
keyboard.
That's the keyboard.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Oceanic Cup. You guys are watching the very final match of the finals weekend. This is the match that determines who get a chance to face off against Akens and a secret box for the title of Oceanic Cup champions. This is the match that you've all been waiting for. It's gonna be Treyarch versus Saiyku. My name is Gamili, or Gami Crayola, and joining me in the casting booth is the lovely Lust. Lust, how are you doing? How are you feeling about this matchup?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm excited for this one. Obviously, Treyarch has been a bit of a shining star this tournament. He has showed his true colors about how good he is as a tournament player, and Saiyku himself also has been quite incredible, taking quite a few wins that really were unexpected. Obviously, winning against Intex yesterday, not on many people's bingo cards, so Saiyku continuing to be sort of the dark horse of the tournament, but it should be a very interesting match between these two. I'm very excited.
Definitely, right? Saiyku being the only New Zealand player still left in this tournament, I do believe. He is really repping the homeland right here, so I'm sure for a lot of New Zealand fans, him being here is going to be huge for them. But, of course, let's talk a little bit about this matchup, right? Last you and I were here yesterday. We watched what happened with the Parlor versus Treyarch matchup. And I think we will see a lot of the patterns that we saw before in a matchup like this. We're looking at Saiyku, who has been one of the better mechanics players. Of course, in Oceania, you know, these players, they have so many players that are incredibly talented at the mechanics, and I think Saiyku is definitely one of them. And so I'm definitely expecting a lot of their game plan going into this matchup to be looking to pick into stuff like No Mod 2, No Mod 5, DT2. And I say that it's similar, or this pattern is similar to what we saw from yesterday, because that's exactly what Treyarch did in order to guarantee 3 points against Parlor. Now, I think it's a reversal because we established before that Treyarch was only able to pull off that feat because he was going up against Parlor, who was just, you know, not really poor at tapping. He was really uncomfortable on the tapping, on every single tapping map, no less. And so it became really easy for Treyarch to get those points. And, you know, while I think it'd be a lot easier for Saiyku to guarantee points on the board with the tapping, I don't think that it's going to be as black and white for this matchup in particular, because we did see how Treyarch performed on a bunch of tapping maps. Even though the accuracy wasn't the best, he was still able to put out very good combo game on a myriad of tapping maps. So definitely looking forward to see how Treyarch copes and how he fights back against Saiyku going into this matchup. We are going to see the bans coming in early on, and it looks like Saiyku is actually going to be the one to take out the hidden 2 this time around. Last time we saw Treyarch being the one to ban out the hidden 2, but you know, Saiyku is just more so leaning towards that mechanic side, and so for that reason, I think we're going to expect to see a lot of the gimmick pool, or we're going to look to see a lot of this gimmick pool being taken out by Saiyku in this ban phase.
Yeah, 100% agree. Obviously, Treyarch instantly going to ban that No Mod 2. That's not really a surprise at all. That is bread and butter Saiyku's skill set. And this map, honestly, Treyarch is able to play it quite well, but Saiyku kind of expects him to really FC that. Like, it would not be a surprise if him or a secret box pull out FCs on No Mod 2s, even at this high star rating. So getting rid of that No Mod 2 is a smart decision, and instantly choosing that Hard Rock 4 as his first pick as well. Now that is sort of a little bit interesting. Saiyku is no slouch when it comes to Hard Rock at all. Saiyku very good even at Hard Rock, so this should be I think it might be a little bit of a coin toss for this first pick, but shall see.
Yeah. We'll constantly be making reference to this, you know, going into this matchup because we can. And I think one thing to know about these two players going into this matchup is the information that they have at their disposal. Both of these players, you know, played about the same amount of maps going into this match in particular, because they've already played their first match from losers. And if you're comparing the score lines between both of these players, you realize that Treyarch did win on the Hard Rock 4 if you compare them hit to hit, but only by 30k. And on a map like this, I mean, one of the harder maps in the pool, and probably one of the hardest maps when it comes to control in general in this pool. It's very volatile. It's definitely one of those maps where, you know, pop-off performances can really shine bright, but it's also the kind of map where, you know, you can just completely flop and just struggle to get combo throughout its entirety, because You know, this map is very, very volatile. A lot of weird slider stream patterns coming to attack these players, and we are jumping straight into the action. Saiyku gonna be the first one to find the miss. treyarch gonna go ahead with the early combo and accuracy lead to his name. But we still have a lot of map left. treyarch is gonna look to widen the score gap as much as possible.
Yeah, starting off already, we are seeing treyarch pretty handily in the lead, 20k already. An unfortunate miss at the start for Saiyku, but there's still plenty of map to go. And there's a lot of Ki action to come at us yet. I believe we'll see many misses coming up in this first Ki. So I would not be too surprised.
Oof.
And already we do see that treyarch break. But Saiyku will trade it back instantly. So a full combo reset on the board, 36k the difference towards treyarch's favor at the moment. And it is very slightly increasing in his odds too.
Yep, we're moving into the second half of this KI, and treyarch is sitting pretty comfortably with the early combo, the early score lead that he generated in this map. treyarch does find a miss, however, and now Saiyku is hot on his heels. 30k scoreline going in favor of treyarch, and it's looking to narrow further and further, especially as treyarch continues to find misses. Moving to the second third of the map, and the map does not let out, right? I mean, so much flow aim, but as we get to the very end of the KI, Saiyku opens up the scoreboard to see him holding a massive 300 combo lead against treyarch. treyarch knows that his score lead is in danger right now as we move past that halfway mark. Oh boy, I mean, it is still anybody's game, right? It is still anybody's game. It's not wise to say that it's going in favor of Saiyku at all, because even in this slow section of the map, look at these sliders. I mean, blink and you miss it. These slider ticks are so easy to find misses on.
Yeah, and as we see, Saiyku will find that slider break, unfortunately for him. That's really not where you want to slider break in this lower section. That is going to start to give that advantage. Again, back to treyarch. treyarch does have just a tiny bit of combo advantage, but because of that prior massive AC and combo advantage earlier, he is in the lead. And again, we find another Saiyku break now. treyarch, 30k in the advantage and growing quite quickly.
Yeah, there's not enough time to rest on a map like this. We're going straight back into the ignition. treyarch still holding that score lead, holding that combo lead, holding the accuracy lead that he's been holding throughout this entire map. And now with Saiyku being the one to find more and more misses going into the deeper end of the KI, treyarch is just only going to continue to perpetuate the scoreline in favor of the bright side. Last quarter of the map comes in. treyarch might find a miss, but where is the recovery from Saiyku? It's only 150, and that scoreline, he's going to take more of that he's going to have to get more of that where it came from in order for him to even begin to think about a comeback. And as Saiyku finds that miss, I think it might be the final nail in the coffin for this Hard Rock 4. I mean, treyarch looking to repeat the same feat that he did from yesterday. I believe his score was about 330k. So now the only question is he gonna be able to beat it out? Time is running out, and for what it's worth, more misses coming in from the bright side, going to narrow down that score margin. It's only gonna drop under the 20k, and with it being at 40k right now and more misses coming in from treyarch, are his nerves getting to him? Hold up, Saiyku coming in hot, looking to swoop in for the attack. It's now flickering below the 10k margin. From treyarch, it might be enough. 2k, 1k, but the miss coming in from Saiyku just barely keeps it in the right side, and treyarch takes the first point very, very precariously.
So close there. I believe it got down to 3-digit score difference at the very end, but unfortunately Saiyku finding that chain miss just sent it back 15k the other direction. But a very, very close point there.
Oh, indeed, it was such a close point. I mean, okay, we already established this, right? Saiyku is no slouch when it comes to the Hard Rock whatsoever, and in fact, I think Saiyku could probably look to go into Hard Rock 1 or Hard Rock 2 later on in this matchup. That's how good I think Saiyku is. But the thing is, you know, when you have the prior match statistics, when you have the numbers from last match, it gives you a different level of confidence going into a pick like this. Even though treyarch wasn't able to perfectly match up against, perfectly match his score from yesterday, being around 330k, he got 320k-ish here. This time around, treyarch knew that he would be on paper more favored to win this map, even if it was by a slight margin, and that's significant in 1v1 tournaments where your individual performances are so important. And I will say last, of course, this match or this map was won by a very, very tight margin, but it does open up the opportunity for treyarch to go into more of the control pool later on. I'm looking at the Hidden 3, the No Mod 3, and the No Mod 4 to be asked from later on. But let's talk a little bit about what Saiyku is going into. And I think we see it, Hard Rock 1, as I anticipated.
Yeah, this Hard Rock 1 is just so brutal on that stamina. more of an aim stamina, if anything, but even the consistent, completely consistent throughout the entire map, just triples and jumps everywhere. This hard rock one is so hard when it comes to that stamina. And Saiyku being an incredible stamina player, I think this is definitely one of those picks I would favor him in, and it is making sense for his first pick, I would say.
Yeah, I think one important thing to know about a map like this, right? Aim stamina is not really a skill set that you associate, or not really a skill set that you think about. I know, like, whenever people mention stamina, you're mostly thinking about streams, you're thinking about death streams, you're thinking about really, really fast bursts. But this map trains stamina or tests stamina on the other hand. It's right-hand stamina because of how relentless all the jumps in this map are, right? Because if you look at what's happening on screen, this is all you're going to be seeing throughout the entire course of the map. There really aren't any ups or downs. There are not really any big climbs. It's really just one long plateau of aim for about 3 to 4 minutes. So yeah, these players are going to be in for a long one, and I think accuracy is going to be a pretty important factor in guaranteeing them security going to the later KIs. As of right now, we're moving past the quarter-way mark, and both players are still tied up in terms of combo. Treyarch just holding a pretty sizable accuracy lead, and that's going to generate him about a 20k score lead going past this first quarter mark.
Interestingly enough, Saiyku looking like he's tapping about 5 to 10 MS too late, so he does need a bit of offset, it seems, on this map. Otherwise, he would have fairly comparable act to Treyarch, I believe. I am keeping a close eye on that UR bar. It's just slightly in the too late section, so... But actually, Treyarch did find a miss. I believe we both missed that. Treyarch found a miss, so that score is swinging straight into the favor of Saiyku now. 30k and growing. He's reached the halfway point. He's still holding on to that FC.
Yeah, we're moving into the wide angle jumps, and it seems as though Treyarch just can't seem to keep up. And in fact, Saiyku has stabilized his accuracy, right? I mean, his cursor might be showing a bit of signs of shake, but look at the scoreline. The numbers don't lie. It's a 90k score lead and growing in favor of the left side, and it's only going to continue to get sharper and sharper as he passes the 1k mark. We're going deeper and deeper into the KI, and, you know, we might be at the point of no return. Saiyku might have found a miss, but there is absolutely no recovery on the side of Treyarch, right? It's only 200 combo. The accuracy is in his favor, but also is a combo game, and I mean, combo is not what's happening on the right side right now. Treyarch is just going to look to even out the scoreline with the recovery, and as Treyarch finds the miss, he's going to be continuously set back through and through, moving deeper and deeper into the ending of the map.
Yeah, 100k to try and claw back in the final quarter of the map. I don't think there's going to be really any time here for Treyarch. He did have to hold some form of combo, and he has unfortunately found too many combo breaks, I believe, to have any substantial combo with what's left. I think Saiyku is just going to handily take this one.
Yeah, that's right. There's really not much to be said at this juncture, right? I think this was a fantastic pick coming in from Saiyku. And even though, you know, Treyarch has always been known to be pretty solid on the accuracy, apart from the... What was it? Apart from the tapping. Yeah, that's right. But it just seems as though, you know, the accuracy can only take him so far in terms of buffer here. And Saiyku most definitely capitalized off their higher level of proficiency and higher level of consistency going into a pick like this. And as you move into the tail end of Warcry, Saiyku is going to be putting his first point on the board, which means that we are tied up 1-1. Very, very good start from both players. Saiyku a bit more decisive than Treyarch, but a point is a point, and we are going to go 1-1. Now it's up to Treyarch, and, you know, I will say, early stages of the map tells us a bit about the trajectory of this match in general. I think going into this matchup, Treyarch is going to be playing into more control, right? But the thing is, I think control in general is something that is a bit more accessible for both of these players, especially compared to something like, say, the tapping, the No Mod 2, the No Mod 5. So most definitely, I think Treyarch is going to have to fight a little bit harder than Saiyku in these earlier stages. And for what it's worth, you know, these early stages, this early stage of the match is very important. It's very important that you win picks, because momentum can grow extremely, extremely fast in a 1v1 tournament. But we are going to see Treyarch double down into the tech with the No Mod 4.
Yeah, definitely where I would have expected him to go. That control, Saiyku is not as proficient in control as he is compared to just about every other skill set that is available between the two players. So I think control is kind of where Treyarch is forced to go at the moment if he wants to squeeze out these earlier points. And he has done exactly that, choosing Hard Rock 4 and then No Mod 4. So not too unexpected from him.
Yeah, definitely, right? I will say though, I want to go back to the point that I made before, right? I think tech in general, I think control in general is something that both of these players can play. So I think what we are looking out for in this No Mod 4 is to figure out whether Saiyku was able to make the Hard Rock 4 close because of his proficiency in tech or because of his proficiency in Hard Rock. If this is a decided pick, or if this is a decisive point for Treyarch, then it's most definitely going to be the latter, right? And I think that's gonna be a lot better for Treyarch going into the later stages of this match. But we're going straight into the map. All gonna be about these big sliders. Slider aim is the name of the game here. Getting accuracy, getting combo is very, very difficult on a map like this. But early stages of the match, nothing new. Treyarch gonna be holding that accuracy lead over his adversary.
Yeah, this map is so difficult. This is the unnerfed version as well of Mind Chase. This is the original version. So this map is so difficult. We are seeing both players still holding their full combos at the moment. But you are noticeable to see that Chef is holding those slider ends far more than Saiyku. So he does have, several combo in the lead. He does find that break though, unfortunately. And it is going to start to immediately swing back into Saiku's favor.
Yeah, no, definitely, right? You're looking at a massive combo lead being generated for Saiyku right now, 600 and counting. We're moving into the later stages of the map, and Saiyku does not get far with the combo, which is good for Treyarch fans. Treyarch is now going to be on the side of the recovery, and with that further miss coming in from Saiyku, it's going to give more leg room for Treyarch, but Treyarch just can't seem to get a grip on the scoreline. I mean, it's so difficult getting consistency in these start-stop patterns, right? Your cursor control needs to be absolutely on point going into the second half of this map. And as of right now, really nothing can be said as it's just a tug of war for any form of combo. It's not a tug of war full of any momentum whatsoever. It's just about who can keep their hit afloat for longer.
So close scoreline. It was sitting around the 400 score difference mark for a large amount of time. Far longer than you'd expect, but Track has clawed it back a bit now, 10k in the advantage, and I believe that is largely due to his major active advantage at the moment. That combo is only about 80 in the lead, so he does find that slider break and then is going to start to, again, swing it back into Saiku's favor, but it's just so close between the two.
Yeah, we've definitely seen this happen in this very map as well. Saiyku holding an early, Saiyku holding a combo lead and taking the scoreline back, but not able to convert. We move into a bit of a downtime section of this map. We are in the off KI. Gonna be some time for Saiyku to gain some hit room, widen the gap further and further, and I think this is in fact the biggest score gap that we have seen this map. It's gonna be about 30k going towards the left side, and I just don't know if there's gonna be enough density going into this section unless you see a chain list coming in from Saiyku. I don't know if there's gonna be enough time for Treyarch. We're going to the last bout of slider aim sections. It's really do or die for them right now, but it's a 50k scoreline going in favor of the left side, and I think Saiyku might just be able to take a early breakpoint against Treyarch on his No Mod 4. And here we have it. Saiyku could make that Hard Rock 4 close because of his proficiency on the tech. It wasn't because of the Hard Rock. He's not contingent on the Hard Rock to win that. He wasn't contingent on the Hard Rock to have made that Hard Rock 4 point close. And with that, Saiyku now has so many more options for this match.
Yeah, unfortunately for Treyarch there, I believe Treyarch would have won that, but Saiyku just held through that ending for the tiniest little bit longer, and you saw that score go from 10k Treyarch's advantage to, by the end of it, just due to that small bit of combo that he held through, went 60k the other direction. So I believe that could have gone either way 100% if Treyarch just held that combo for a little bit longer. But we will see that early breakpoint and then immediately Saiyku choosing No Mod 1. Now this is one of our lovely customs by the man himself, App. And what a wonderful map this is, and the song. Can you hear that song in your ears, Gabby?
Oh, this is emotional. This is emotional. I love this song. I think Mavs put it very well yesterday when we saw it, right? It's like, you wouldn't see a map like this in the ranked section. No Mod 1 is usually your aim farm slot map. Consistency, yada yada yada, cross screens galore. This map really plays like something like what's a good comparison? Like oh wait, crap! It's eluding me right now. It's really eluding me. It's like the freaking Temptation. It's like Temptation. I know the mapper is also one of the mappers from the Temptation set, but it really does play like a love map in the sense that, you know, the aim is just constantly really difficult. And as you get deeper and deeper into the song, you're gonna realize that the song doesn't really do the intensity of the map justice. But as we move into the early stages of the map, this is gonna be about 3 minutes and 30 seconds long. It's gonna be 3 minutes and 31 seconds worth of just pure aim. A lot of consistency gonna be put to the test, but I think at this SR is gonna be more so about your aim stamina. Once again, going back to the aim stamina that Saiyku that we were talking about in the Hard Rock 1, right? Saiyku being the player of the advantage in that sense. So definitely gonna be a favorite going into a pick like this, but only time will tell. Let's jump straight into it.
What a song this is. Oh my days. Such a beautiful song. Both players still holding their full combos at the moment. And honestly, not too unexpected. I think we will see a large amount of combo from both players. I would be very surprised if they didn't pull out near FCs. But we do see already Saiyku does find that miss. So treyarch is going to get a very early advantage here. Already 500 combo up. That score is just growing instantly.
Yeah, that's gonna be massive for treyarch, especially given how he was able to connect the ends to the ends, right? He was able to hit the entire KI, and now he's gonna be rewarded with a bunch of free combo, or at least comparatively freer combo, going into the off KI section of this match. We're moving into the second quarter, and already it's a 50k score lead going in favor of treyarch. Saiyku cannot afford to miss at any point of the map going forward. We're moving to the next KI of the map. Here is where we really saw treyarch lock in during their previous match against Parlor. So we're expecting to see a similar feat if treyarch wants to guarantee this point for himself. We're moving deeper and deeper into the KI, and really no action is happening on the board right now. Saiyku is still a looming presence, but treyarch is looking to increase that combo all the way to the 1k mark.
Treyarch, yeah, already 100k in the advantage, and that scoreline is just gonna grow and grow massively because this huge combo advantage that he has.
Oh my goodness!
Saiyku missed early, but there goes treyarch. Down goes that 1000 combo. But that's a huge score margin for Saiyku to try and build back. He's going to have to try and FC pretty much the rest of the map here to bring it back. And treyarch will, I believe, have to miss a few times as well. So he's definitely not home free yet, but this is going to be a Herculean effort from Saiyku.
Yeah, most definitely. But for what it's worth, Saiku's combo is now putting treyarch on a timer. Treyarch is just a fight for survival right here. He can't afford to give Saiyku any more openings for attack, and Saiyku will not get far with the recovery as he just barely falls short once he hits the 800 combo mark. Treyarch gonna look to stagnate the scoreline, and with a 77 going to 80k lead in favor of treyarch, he's not looking back anytime soon. Last quarter of the map, and only misses fill the screen as the map reaches its climax, reaches the peak of its aim intensity. And really, there's not much to be said. I think treyarch has just won back that breakpoint that he missed out on that No More 4.
Yeah, comfortably treyarch 70k in the advantage here, and there's really nothing that can be done now. Saiyku, unless treyarch literally puts his pen down, cannot do anything here. So we will see again another breakpoint. Breakpoint after breakpoint is interesting. But already this match has been so close in just about every vein. Really, one miss has decided 2 maps in a row, unfortunately for them. And yeah.
It's really good if you are unbiased viewer, right? Prospects are really looking up for this matchup because even this early on, we are seeing these players pick into points that they just lose out. I mean, treyarch went for the No More 4, lost by 50k. Saiyku went into this No More 1, lost by 78k. It just goes to show just how evenly matched these two players are. That on these accessible skill sets, it's really just about the on-the-day performance, right? There's really no numbers that we can directly use to attribute to these players going into this match. There's not a lot that we can predict, and that's what I love about this matchup. But I am interested to figure out why Saiyku didn't instead opt to go for something like the DT2 or DT3. I know, treyarch doesn't really have information. He doesn't really have information on treyarch's ability on these maps, given how he didn't play it, but it's one of two things. Either Saiyku just doesn't want to pick DT2 and DT3, and he's legitimately just scared of playing the Fog of War, or Saiyku is saving it for a later stage. And if it's the latter, we could be in for some pretty dangerous turf for treyarch as we move into the mid-game of the match. But yeah, we can only wait to see how he decides to take this match, and I do believe treyarch is going to be locking in his next pick. It's going to be Hidden 3 as expected, right? I think treyarch's trajectory going into this matchup is going to be pretty self-explanatory. I think treyarch wants to play in the Hiddens. He wants to play in the Control, and Hidden 3 is his next best bet. We're going into the Hidden Tech.
Yeah, we are going to see that hidden pick, no surprise. I believe with that DT3, I would be surprised if we saw a pick on that at all, to be honest, because the 300 BPM is brutal. I don't think either player can play 300 very comfortably. So I don't necessarily know if we'll see that DT3. 100% that DT2 Saiyku can play and play well, but that DT3 would be quite a scary pick. So hidden 3 here. Saiyku obviously not that proficient at the hiddens, and treyarch himself is not the greatest when it comes to the hidden, but definitely rates himself to be higher than Saiyku can on this map. So definitely, I understand the pick process here, but I don't think this is going to be the most incredible showing from either player, to be honest. And already we are seeing treyarch has found a miss very early on, but both players struggling with that track, and Saiyku already finding several misses.
Yeah, unfortunately the overlay doesn't really show us, but this map is 274 BPM. That's not something that you see from a not a normal, but a non-double time tech map. So you can already expect what's to come in a map like this, right? And I think Maps put it very, very well yesterday when we were casting it. There's not really a title, there's not really a label that you can attribute to a map like this. It's really just whatever the hell the YF Bimp was thinking when he was cooking up this map. We're going past that first quarter of the map, and treyarch is going to be holding a pretty sizable advantage. I mean, 23k, I know it's not the biggest on paper, but you know, any form of lead above, say, 20k is going to be sizable on a matchup this close. As of right now, we are going into the off KI. Some time for these players to regain their combos right now, but treyarch is going to be the one to find the miss. Saiyku on the recovery right now, looking for that scoreline, and it's going to decline slowly but surely in favor of the left side, especially if he's able to connect, but he's not able to connect. We move into the sliders, we move into the slider pattern of the map, and now we are equal. We are on equal footing in terms of both the combo and somewhat the accuracy.
Yeah, treyarch does have that slight advantage in all fields at the moment, and then as we see, Saiyku will find that slider break, but treyarch will match it almost immediately, so that 20k score is not really changing too much. It's so close between the two, and it's still anyone's game. There's so long left in this map, still easily a third of the map to go, and still far more difficult parts to come as well. We do see Saiyku finding that combo break now, but it's only 180 combo advantage to the side of treyarch now.
Yeah, most definitely, right? Saiyku gonna be continually left in the dust as treyarch continues to push ahead with that score lead. 50k and counting, going to the slider flowing patterns. I mean, completely demolishing all of them. This is a way better showing than we saw from treyarch yesterday, and now it's just for style points. 70k going in favor of the right side. Treyarch unfortunately finds the miss, but that's not gonna detract from just how incredible a score like this is. Don't let the numbers deceive you. 300k is not an easy task to get on this hidden 3, especially when you take into consideration the hidden makes all of these flowing patterns, makes hitting these flowing patterns, makes generating any form of consistency, any form of combo on this map all the more difficult. And with that, treyarch is going to be taking the series 2-3, finally winning another point.
Taking his own pick. Finally, we are going to see no breakpoints, which is good.
No breakpoint.
2 breakpoints in a row. So we will, I'm assuming Saiyku is going to try and instantly convert here and go for maybe a DT2. I would be surprised if he asking actually treyarch if he wants to play speed yet. Is it an interesting decision to ask your opponent what they want to play?
I mean, it's sort of a looming threat, right? I haven't really gotten a chance to talk about the whole survival, the whole forum effect, as I like to call it, going into this matchup, because we haven't seen a speed pick come out yet. But I'm most definitely expecting Saiyku to begin to dip his toes in some of the speed picks sooner rather than later, right? Because we have a few of them to go through. We have the No Mod 5, the DT2, the DT3, and then I also think Saiyku can use the DT4. We saw, this is the power of the information that we had from their match yesterday. I believe Saiyku was getting around 800k on that map in match. Was one of his most decisive points as well. So that DT4 is a perfect thing to go into. But yeah, Saiyku's rampage on the double time is going to begin on the DT2.
Yeah, not really too much of a surprise here for him to pick that DT2. I think he needed to bring it into that speed as soon as he possibly could. Now that he is definitely warm up and locked into this match, he needs to try and squeeze out some points on this speed.
Yeah, I mean, I said it before, right? Saiyku is most definitely going to be the player that is privileged. He's going to be advantaged on any sort of mechanics tapping pick. In in a battle of these two, you know, neither of them are necessarily at the very, very top of the mechanics threshold of this tournament. But when you are looking at these two players and comparing them side by side, Saiyku is quite in a ways in a different weight class compared to treyarch on the speed. But for what it's worth, I don't think treyarch is that weak when it comes to speed. He's most definitely capable of holding his own. But, you know, you're gonna need to take a bit more than holding your own in order to win a pick, especially in a 1v1 tournament, right? So, by no means is winning on any one of these speed picks impossible for treyarch, but it's, as you mentioned before in your words, it's gonna be a Herculean task for treyarch to do so. And I'll mention some more analysis after this pick, after we see the results of this pick come in. But early stages of the double time 2, and you get to see what it's all about these high BPM bursts with a dash of flowing thrown in to make sure that you're on point with your application.
Yeah, already we have seen both players find a very early break at the first 40 combo. I believe both players found that break, but they are building that footing now. A little bit of an act drop from both players, sitting at about 93% the pair, but Saiyku is just very slightly in advantage at the moment. He does have, I believe, about 5 combo difference and just a slight act advantage, but both players are playing this fairly equally in their ability at the moment.
Yeah, the only thing that we can really talk about at this juncture is the 4% ag lead that Saiyku is generating over treyarch right now, and that is significant. But as of right now, treyarch is really just a looming threat in the lobby. He's just waiting for Saiyku to find that misstep. But as we move into more and more of the flowing, treyarch just can't seem to hold it together, and this is where the comfort on the speed comes in. This is where application is key. It's one thing to be able to mash 252 BPM. It's one thing to be able to tap it, but there's a difference between mashing and actually being able to exercise comfort, right? It's how you're able to apply it to a wide variety of patterns, and it just seems as though Saiyku is just leagues ahead of treyarch in that sense. Might be losing a lot of accuracy, might be dropping all the way to 90, but you're really just comparing between a 90% and an 86%. It's still gonna be a lead in favor of the 90%.
Yeah, you are seeing these absolutely incredible shakes come out of both players at the moment, but Saiyku was able to hold through that, and you could tell the comfort difference really if you were looking at the UR bars. Treyarch, when that Ki came in and that more difficult aiming section came in, their UR was all over the place, but Saiyku's was still fairly consistent up until right around the end of it. So Saiyku's still holding this massive combo now, still FCing, and that score is just majorly in his advantage. This is by far the biggest score lead we've seen so far this match. And
yeah,
all due to simply him FCing still.
Yeah, I mean, he's just continuing to tread on, right 1.4k combo and counting, going past the second half of the map into the last third. And Saiyku's not looking back whatsoever. I mean, he's leaving treyarch in the dust, and he's only going to continue to perpetuate the score lead further and further towards the left side. I mean, what can you even do? Saiyku finally finds the miss on the aim, ironically enough. But that isn't going to detract from just how incredible this scoreline is, and for what it's worth, a decisive point for Saiyku. There's not really much to be said anymore as we just watch these two players duke it out towards the very end.
Yeah, Saiyku taking that with a fair amount of ease. Again, you saw those shakes that he pulled out on the end of that stream. Absolutely insane, but he manages to hold on. And 240k is unfortunately too large of a task for treyarch to try and claw back in what is such a small amount of time. So we are going to see a 3-3 scoreline here, but it is going into treyarch's pick here. So I wouldn't be too surprised, really, if treyarch, again... What was the hidden that was left unbanned?
Hidden 1. I think it's hidden 1 and hidden 3.
Yeah. And we already saw that hidden 3 come out. I don't know if that hidden 1 is necessarily best decision though. I feel like that's a very much a coin toss pick. So
I mean, what else could treyarch go into, right? Something like a DT4? Hell no. No, DT5? Hell no. Like DT5 is not happening. So like, yeah, I think that you mentioned it. Yeah, no, you go.
DT5 or something?
Yeah, we don't talk about the DT5. But now comes the main point of contention going to this matchup, right? The binary tension, if I may. I call it the form effect. It's a fight for survival going into the mid game of this match. Usually you'd see this in the early game, but we're seeing it in the mid game, interestingly enough. For what it's worth, you look at the board state, and Saiyku just has so many mechanics picks still at his disposal. He could look into going to Nomad 5, then DT3, then DT4. He has a very, very clear path to guaranteeing himself at least a match point in this match. And that's the danger, because Saiyku, of course, has these 3 picks at his disposal, and he also has the DT1 if he needs to play into it. Whereas you look at on the side of treyarch, what does he have? He has Hidden 1, he has No Mod 3, he has No Mod 6. No Mod 5, DT5, out of the question. All of the other DTs, yeah, we're not gonna see that coming in from treyarch. So treyarch needs to play on on a more rocky turf, right? Hidden 1, it's gonna be No Mod 6, it's gonna be No Mod 3, and we instead see No Mod 5. Hold up.
Interesting.
Whoa!
Okay.
Whoa! I was not expecting to see this pick, especially given how Saiyku had such a dominant lead on the DT2 that we just saw. I mean, I'm just completely lost for words. Wow.
I'm very surprised that treyarch was the one to pick this No Mod 5. I thought that was going to be Saiku's next pick, to be honest. So seeing treyarch pick it is odd.
This is so ballsy. I mean, look, it's not out of the question. It's not a crazy pick. This is a pick that comes from a position of true confidence. Right? It's not comfort. It's not that treyarch is the better player when it comes to tapping. It's just confidence in his own ability. Treyarch was able to get about 600k score on this map when he played it yesterday against Pala. He generated, I believe, 1.7k combo. So treyarch is banking everything, banking the security of this mid game on a speed pick. This is so ballsy. I love this play from treyarch. If he manages to win this, hands down, I gotta give it to him. But here we go. This is another custom map in the pool, I do believe, and it's gonna be 250 BPM speed stamina. So, you know, if what we saw from the GT2 wasn't enough to sort of guarantee or give us a good picture, or give us a good appetizer as to what's to come, you can already anticipate this No Mod 5 to be more and more mechanics heavy than this DT2.
Yeah, the number 5 starts out, it is not super stamina intensive at the start, but by the end of it, the streams that come out at the end, the absolute death streams of 250 are so difficult to go through. And not to mention there's some pretty difficult flow in it too, so you do have to, they're not really double tappable when it comes to the end. So you do have to be able to play it, but look at the shake coming out of treyarch at the moment. Oh my days.
Oh my goodness, and in fact, we're gonna see treyarch pull ahead with the accuracy lead to his name. That's about a 3%. That is pretty significant for treyarch, and it's gonna give him some security. But treyarch is not gonna get far of the combo lead, however, and he finds the miss. Saiyku not gonna be on the earlier front foot, and an advantage on combo is not one you want to give to Saiyku because he's just gonna take that lead and run a mile.
Unfortunately for treyarch, yeah, Saiyku was just able to hold through that track, only finding a small blunder. Due to that shake,
No!
I mean, everyone was seeing it, the incredibly intense shake coming out of treyarch. And Saiyku is just now running away with it. Oh no, this is not good for treyarch.
Oh my goodness, and I mean, you can talk about treyarch shake all you want, but we saw him pull 1.7k score with this exact shake yesterday. You look at the accuracy, and it makes sense. Treyarch really just biting himself right now, biting his lip right now, not happy about that miss, not happy that he's unable to replicate. This is a high risk, high reward play, and it's just looking like treyarch is on the wrong side of the coin here. Saiyku just going to be gifted more and more free combo going to the last third of the map, and I don't know, man. I don't know if there's going to be enough time. That accuracy as well is beginning to thin, the accuracy lead for treyarch is beginning to thin, so even if Saiyku finds the miss right here, I don't know if there's going to be enough time, and that miss from coming in from treyarch going into the more difficult section of the map, really, it looks like it's going to be lights out for treyarch on this No Mod 5.
Yeah, unfortunately, Saiyku is just still MCing. He is down to 93% accuracy now, finding quite a bit of act drops on these big death streams. But he's still FCing, and treyarch has unfortunately been blown out of the water on his own pick now. Is Saiyku gonna FC?
Oh my goodness, yeah, that is the question, right? It's just the style points right here, and this is the danger that we were speaking of with the No Mod 5. This is the fight for survival that treyarch needed to play. But unfortunately, he's getting the shorter end of the stick right now. 2.1k score lead in favor, 2.1k combo in favor of Saiyku right now, going to the very ending sections of the map. The question is, can he close it out right now for style points? He just barely burns out at the very ending. But that doesn't detract from the massive 800k score that Saiyku was able to put on screen. What are we doing?
Did you see his cursor on that final stream, Gammy? I'm not sure what happened there, whether he dropped his pen, but his cursor absolutely teleporting everywhere there.
Oh man, that is heartbreaking. Such an aggressive pick from coming in from Treyarch, and as a caster, I love to see these kinds of picks. I love because Treyarch knew the position that he was in. He knew that he was running out of picks, and he still decided to go for such a ballsy move there. Not many players, I think, not many players would have been willing enough to take that risk. So, gotta put some respect on his name for making that difficult decision, but it did not work out. Unfortunately, the reality is it did not work out, and now Treyarch is gonna be heavily disadvantaged going into the late game because Saiyku is just now going to hit DT3, DT4, gonna hit DT1, and it's gonna be difficult for Treyarch to find his way back into this match. But Treyarch did take out one of those decisive picks. He did bite the bullet, so it is still possible. But oh man, Treyarch fans, gonna be rough.
Yeah, this DT4, what an absolute banger it is, Tank. And this one is going to be a rough time. I'm picking this one. I think it's going to be hard for Treyarch to compete against Saiyku, unfortunately, on this one. This is a very difficult map. So turn it up.
Turn it up indeed. This is I do believe, like, in my time in 6th Digit, I saw a lot of this map being pulled as like a no mod 3. I loved playing this map in my 6th Digit tournaments as a warm-up map, and such a fantastic map. And when you put DT on it, it becomes a whole different level of difficulty. A lot of aim agility is going to be put to the test here. There is a good amount of flow aim, but the main point of difficulty is the high AR in tandem with, of course, the intense snap aim that you're going to be tested with throughout the course of this map. Not the longest, not the shortest or the longest map of the DT pool, hovering in the middling 3-minute mark if I'm not mistaken. So there's going to be some leg room for these players to build and lose combo and whatnot. But we are going to see how it goes. Early stages of the map, Treyarch is going to be holding the accuracy lead as per usual. But of course, Saiyku is always the player to look out for in terms of the combo. If there's one player you know he can guarantee you a show on the combo, it's going to be Saiyku.
Yeah, Saiyku's combo, kind of like a sneaky pocket golem. He's just always there looting. He knows his time will come. And unfortunately, Treyarch finding that miss. And Saiyku is going to pull away with that huge combo lead already. It's coming straight back into his advantage.
Yeah, that's right. And Saiyku going to look to narrow that accuracy deficit as he moves past that quarter-way mark. Looks like it's only going to be about 4% going in favor of Treyarch right now, and that's not going to be good if you're a Treyarch fan. But Saiyku does find the miss, and it does give Treyarch some hit room. He's now hot on his tails, looking for the recovery, and it is going to shift in favor of the right side. You know how volatile DT scorelines can get, right? Scorelines can shift in an instant. As we move into the second half of the map, Treyarch is only going to continue to grow. That blade is only going to get sharper as we are going 500 and growing. Hold up.
They are doing so well right now. Absolutely blowing my expectations out of the water. 700 combo. Now, nearly double the combo of Saiyku. 350 in the advantage. Does find that break, but there's not much time here.
Yeah, down goes Treyarch, and down goes his score lead as Saiyku hot on his heels. 500 combo and counting, now the one with the combo advantage. There is still a quarter of the map left, and with how fast these DT scorelines can fly, that miss from Treyarch is gonna allow Saiyku to take this point right back as it shifts over to the left side. Unless we see a miss from Saiyku right here, I don't think it's gonna be possible for Treyarch to make it back. There's really not enough time here, and Treyarch just can't seem to get a grip anymore on any form of combo. Saiyku gonna look to put that dominance on show. Finally finds the miss. That is going to be 568k for the left side and a 74k score lead for Saiyku going into this next point.
Yeah, taking that pick and far less decisive than I thought it would be. Honestly, what an incredible play from both players. Treyarch doing very well. 96.23 accuracy is absolutely incredible showing there. But we are 5-3 to the advantage of Saiyku at the moment into Treyarch's pick here. But now I'm looking at the board and I'm thinking, really, what does Treyarch have left to play into? Do you go to No Mod 3 here? It has to be No Mod 3, and that's about it. That's all I can see.
yeah, right, the hidden one is risky. Treyarch is the better player when it comes to hidden on paper, but you look at the skill set and Saiyku, right, is just that much stronger on all of the aim picks. We saw such decisive victories on No Mod 1, Hard Rock 1, so there's not a lot of confidence in this hidden one pick. So it really has to be No Mod 3. I really don't know what else Treyarch can go into. But even going into this No Mod 3 is going to be risky, right? Because Saiyku can probably play this No Mod 3. No Mod, the entire No Mod pool is pretty accessible for all of these players, barring, of course, the mechanics No Mods that we saw in No Mod 2 and No Mod 5. The rest is pretty accessible for both of these players. So, yeah, Treyarch is really being found between a rock and a hard place. Really losing that gambit on the No Mod 5 really set him back quite a few footsteps. But we are going to see a timeout coming in from Treyarch. Saiyku saying is bro practicing DT5. Maybe that's it. The pockets are deep with this one. The pockets are so deep with this one.
Yeah, and he is pulling out the timeout, so a little bit of an intervention here. I don't really know what Treyarch can do here. This is such a rough position. If you were in Treyarch's shoes, to know that you're going into Saiyku, who is just, at the end of the day, on paper, the more mechanically intense and skilled player when it comes to pretty much everything that's left. It is very much mechanics on the board now. So if you're Treyarch here, you just have to try and, you know, go into that No Mod 3 and hope and pray that you can take this.
I will say though, if you look at that score difference on the GT4, it does potentially tell you that Treyarch and Saiyku are not too far apart when it comes to the AR 10.5. I think the speed wasn't that big of a deal in that match. It wasn't that big of a testing factor or a difficulty factor. It really just is about how you're able to apply your pattern recognition and your muscle memory under very, very high AR, under AR 10.5. And Treyarch and Saiyku were pretty evenly matched all the way until the very ending. So it does give me a bit of hope that if Treyarch is able to win a point here, he can maybe inch out something. He can maybe put up a good fight on the DT1. I think the DT3 is basically a lost cause, and I think if you're looking at it from a strategic standpoint, right, you're always going to be playing a... This guy is taking the fight to him. Holy crap! Treyarch, that's my goat. This is my goat. Holy crap! He's taking the fight to Saiyku. He knows that he's a lost cause. He knows that everything he goes into, that everything he can go into, is gonna be a coin toss. So he's not looking to play any form of coin flip. He just wants to bite the bullet, rip the bandage, and just go for the GT3. That's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about.
I cannot believe that Treyarch was the one to choose this DT3. What are we doing?
Treyarch might just be my favorite Aussie player. Like, I can't even lie. Like, when you're backed into a corner, you don't let your opponent step on your chest. You know, you take the fight to them. And we're gonna have to see once again if this gambit is warranted for Treyarch. Does he have very, very deep pockets? Does he have something up his sleeve? Of course, it's very easy to say that the answer is no going into a pick like this, right? It's gonna be 300 BPM shred. And of course, Saiyku being the player favorite on every single mechanics map thus far, it's gonna be a hard conversation to have if you're a Treyarch fan. But only time can tell. This is an extremely short map, and early stages of the map, in fact, it looks a lot closer than we first anticipated last.
Yeah, the scoreline is neck and neck. That ACK is almost exactly the same as well. Again, it is fairly low for both players. I didn't think either player would be able to play this too well, but...
I mean, neither player is playing this well, but for the first time on a mechanics pick, last, Treyarch's accuracy matters! It's so minuscule, it's only 2%, and both of these players are in the trenches when it comes to the accuracy, but there is no combo to be had from the entire screen. We move past the halfway mark of the map, and it's a, 15k score lead, slightly moving in favor of Treyarch, but if Saiyku continues to be battered on his knees, when it comes to the combo, he might just have a chance. But with that, Saiyku is finally gaining some hit room. That's not what you want to see. 250 combo and rising, moving to the next third of the map, the last third of the map. And it's looking rough for Treyarch to make this point, right? We're going last quarter, and we need to see a miss coming in from Saiyku soon, sooner rather than later. We want to see Treyarch make his way back into the match, but it's only going to be free combo going into the early sections of this last quarter.
Yeah, there's really no time now. Unfortunately, Treyarch finding that chain break, and that's 100% going to seal that for Saiyku now. 500 combo in his pocket. He does find that break, but he did build up 50k score in that short moment, really, that he just had that huge combo lead, and unfortunately, Treyarch is going to lose another break point. Now, we're going match point into Saiyku's favor, which is so scary, because Saiyku has, again, so many mechanics picks left on the field to choose from. Really, he has a field day of what he wants to choose. And what do you go into if you're Saiyku here?
No, if you're Saiyku here, I think you go GT1. I think that's the best pick that you can go for, because as much as we like to talk about Treyarch really twiddling his thumbs at this board state, not really having anything to go into, what else does Saiyku really have, right? DT5, again, let's not talk about that. Every single control pick is going to be dicey for you. The precision is going to be dicey for you. Picking hidden into Treyarch when you lost on the hidden 3, I don't know about that. So really, for this last pick, you know, for something that could be your last pick, I think GT1 is really your best bet. I could see a potential angle going into the Nomad 6, as winning it does guarantee you, or Nomad 6 gives you some information going to the Havoc 3, so that could be an interesting angle for you to for you to attack if you're Saiyku here, right? But really, I don't see a better pick than GT1.
Yeah, and realistically, he should pick DT1 simply because it is a beautiful map by Pella himself. One of the unfortunate losers this week out of the Oceanic Cup now.
Yep, here we go.
But it is that DT1. What a beautiful song this is.
Yep. It's time for DT1. This is a map by the lovely Pala. This is the map that took Pala out of the tournament, that Treyarch used to take Pala out of the tournament yesterday. So, I mean, this is the first of the match point picks coming in from Saiyku. From this point on, Treyarch is at a knife's edge. Every single point that he loses, every single point from this point on could be a game ender for Treyarch. So it's only poetic that the very first pick of Treyarch's journey to try to get this tiebreaker is going to be the very point that he sent out his first losers bracket finals opponent. It's gonna be tough, but not impossible for Treyarch, right? Saiyku is of course gonna be the player that's privileged, gonna be the player that is advantaged on all of the aim picks, just looking at the numbers, looking at the Nomad 1 and the Harvard 1. On paper, Saiyku should be favored on a pick like this, but you cannot really say anything going into a map as accessible as DT1. I think both players in solo could most definitely put up a very good show on this. So at the end of the day, it's gonna be how these players do when the lights are shown on them, how these players do on stage on the day. So here we go. It's gonna be DT1. It's sort of Nomad 1, but higher BPM. Really nothing much to say. Nothing much more to say about this. Really cookie cutter and bread and butter aim test for about 3 minutes.
Yeah, interestingly enough with this map as well, there was actually no DTFCs on it until about a little bit over an hour ago. Emmerich pulled out a DTFC on this, getting rank 1 on the leaderboards of it, and that was the first FC. Also, being number 1 on an Australian map, being an Australian that is in the TOC, so much Australia, so much Australian love, but getting into this so close already, still starting off, that accuracy is in Saiyku's favor for once, which is not really something we've seen this whole match. Already Treyarch is going to find that break and is down quite a bit on the accuracy too, so
yeah, I mean, not the best omens if you're a Treyarch fan right here. These early misses are not quite what you want to see, especially when the map begins to ramp up and you're expecting the map only to get more and more difficult, right? I mean, you need to get sort of this combo buffer going into the KI so that you can have some form of security. But Saiyku does trade it up, albeit a little bit late. But Treyarch just can't seem to find a combo as he trades it up very, very shortly. Move into the second third of the map, and Saiyku finds yet another miss, but down goes Treyarch as well. These players really just trading blow for blow right here. Nothing much more to be said until we get to see some sizable combo leads coming in from either side. But for what it's worth, Treyarch has done a pretty good job narrowing the accuracy scoreline, so that's gonna be a point of contention probably taken away. One less problem for him to worry about.
Yeah, both players on a stabilizing effort now, looking fairly neck and neck in that combo department. But again, Saiyku just had that prior lead, and it is showing its horns at the moment. That Aki did drop a little bit, so now he's neck and neck with treyarch. But treyarch finds that break, unfortunately for him. He was building that recovery, but now Saiyku is going to start to run away with it again, and already that score is building. 40k the advantage of Saiyku at the moment, and it is going to keep growing and growing. We do see that miss coming out of Saiyku now, though. That is good for treyarch. Again, Saiyku finding another break, and treyarch is hot on his heels. 26k the difference. So close between the two. This is not any form of decisiveness at all in this pick.
It is so rough right now. I mean, this is the story that has been told time and time again throughout this match. treyarch has always been the player to hold the accuracy lead over Saiyku, and now he is doing just that, a 1% accuracy lead, but he just can't seem to find the combo. Saiyku might be finding a lot of accuracy drops, and that is going to make the scoreline close going into this very ending sections of the map, but unless you can see some consistency come up from treyarch, it might not be doable. But hold up, the scoreline shifts in favor of the right side as Saiyku finds more and more accuracies, and can we finally see this player succumb to his hubris in terms of the accuracy? I don't know. As we move into the very tail end of the map, the scoreline is begging to shift towards the left side, and Saiyku is looking to hold, but he finds the miss, and that is how the cookie crumbles as treyarch by 5k stays in the game.
Can't believe treyarch winning that DT1. Absolute cinema. That was so close. But Saiyku is going to lose that out.
Chat, don't log off yet. We still have a match. It's never over. And treyarch, I mean, it's no easier for treyarch. This board state is no easier for treyarch to play. He still needs to win 2 more points in order to even think about getting a tiebreaker. And of course, we've been talking about it. treyarch doesn't have good picks. And he can't just pull out some gimmicky stuff. He can't just bring the fight, quote unquote, to Saiyku. He can't just go into DT3. He can't go into No Mod 5. He's already done that play. So now he's forced to play on the bumpy, turbulent waters that he's just been trying to avoid going into this endgame. He's forced to meet his maker and play RNG. He has to play with the coin flip.
And he goes for that hard rock 2.
That is so
my days. He is just going for all of the aura picks here. Choosing No Mod 5, DT3, hard rock 2 into Saiyku. He's just absolutely aura bombing on his opponent at the moment. And if he wins this one as well, oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah, I mean, you look at a pick like this and you look at the maps that we still have left. This is treyarch's last pick, by the way. And he is deciding to go into a hard rock map against a hard rock player. I mean, till the very end, this guy lives or dies by the RNG. He lives or dies by the gamble. And frankly speaking, I've never seen a more entertaining player in a 1v1 tournament, me personally, Lust. I don't know about you. I've never seen a player this aggressive in his picks. Because think about it. Think about it, right, Lust? If treyarch wins this Hard Rock 2, it's precision into precision. He has an analog into No Mod 6. If treyarch wins this Hard Rock 2, Saiyku then is forced to pick into either No Mod 3 or Hidden 1. No Mod 3 is probably his best pick. But we've been talking about, hey, treyarch should probably go into this No Mod 3 time and time again during this match. And Saiyku, do you really want to go into Hidden 1? There really isn't a good pick moving forward if treyarch is able to win this map. So, for that reason, this is a high risk, high reward. Once again, this is a high risk, high reward play coming in from treyarch, really till the very end, looking to put Saiyku in a position of checkmate, even though he's been threatened match point. I love treyarch as a player, but of course, only time will tell if this gamble will work out, and it all has to begin from this Hard Rock 2. So if that's it, let's jump straight into it.
Unfortunately, treyarch finding a super early break with this map is not super duper long, so already a quarter of the way through. And treyarch finding that early break is not what you want to see when you're down and you're against a match point opponent. You need to do your best to try and hold on, but Saiyku already, again, treyarch finding that break. Saiyku will match it, so it is still neck and neck. Actually, going to the favor of treyarch, with his huge ACK advantage.
I'm telling you, last every single time Treyarch finds a miss, Saiyku just finds a 5% accuracy drop. It's the story that we've been seeing time and time again. It's history repeating itself. But look at the scoreline, everybody. The accuracy buffer is doing wonders for Treyarch right here. And it seems as though Saiyku's accuracy copium has finally gotten the better of him as we move into the last third of the map. Treyarch, 250 combo in his hands, finally, for the first time I think in a while, holding a sizable combo lead against Saiyku. And with a 97% accuracy to his name, with a 5% accuracy to his name, this is the kind of scoreline that Treyarch can put on show with the accuracy in his name. 130k scoreline going into the very ending of the match. There's nothing that Saiyku can do but watch as Treyarch completely checkmates, completely outclasses him on this map.
What a showing from Treyarch. 97% nearly on this map is so difficult to do, and he's just pulled it off like it was seemingly nothing. He's nearly doubled Saiyku's score on a hard rock, and that's not something that many players in the world will ever be able to say that they've done. And now, what can you do with Saiyku? Hidden one is probably his best pick, realistically, and that's saying something because Saiyku does not want to pick Hidden, but Hidden one is probably the most mechanics left.
This is the checkmate position that Treyarch has been praying for throughout the entirety of this mid game. It all started with the Nomad 5, then it went into the DT3, then it went to this, then it went to the Hard Rock 2. Treyarch has been trying to limit the options of Saiyku very silently. He's been trying to limit the options of Saiyku, and finally his hard work has paid off. Everything Saiyku goes into here is something that is disadvantageous for himself, right? Hidden 1, hidden. Nomad 6 is precision to precision. We're not gonna do that. Nomad 3 is his best bet, but even then, it's an even playing field that Treyarch has shown competency on time and time again. Really, there's no other way. There's no more perfect way for Treyarch to play a disadvantageous endgame than this. Oh my goodness. What's DT5? DT5 is a reading double time map. None of these players can touch it. None of these players are gonna touch it whatsoever.
I think we will see about 15 to 20k per player on DT5. So he does choose that no mod 3. Oh my days.
That's not happening. DT5, I think I see some people in chat asking. DT5 is no irony. It's double time reading and it's memory reading. We saw yesterday Treyarch Parla picked this against Treyarch and he got 20k. So assuming that Saiyku is in the same boat when it comes to reading, I don't really think that Saiyku could have thought about going into a pick like that, even if Treyarch got 20k abysmal score in it. But of course, that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about the No Mod 3. This is gonna be Innocent Arrogance, a custom map by the lovely Flying Tuna. I do believe that this... Oh, no, it's not. But yeah, this is a No Mod 3 custom map by the lovely Flying Tuna. I do believe that this is a collab between both Tuna and Aishiteru. In case you guys don't know who Aishiteru is, think OWC 2024 Unravel. Think about the forum map. Yes, Aishiteru was responsible for that map. So if that sort of gives you any sort of indication as to what's to come with this map, you can expect to see a lot of messy alternate mapping, a lot of zigzags, drawn out for 3 minutes and 27 seconds, and this is probably gonna be the most agonizing 3 minutes and 27 seconds for Treyarch, because this is the most pivotal pick in the match. This determines whether we see Treyarch go bye-bye on this pick, or we get to see Palace of Melancholy, and as an unbiased viewer, we always have to root for the underdog. So here we go. At the very end, we either see a tiebreaker, or we see Treyarch end his Oceanic Cup run right here, right now. 170 BPM, mechanics alternate. This map does not give up in the slightest throughout its entire drain. And as you can see, early sections of the map, that early this fight is gonna be hell for both of these players.
Jeez, both players just completely messing up everything in the intro, really. Just a ton of chain misses. Uncharacteristic for both of them, really. I would expect both players to be able to hit that normally, but Oh, hitting those wiggles, Saiyku finds 2 misses at the very end of it, and that's going to give the advantage to Treyarch. That combo is hugely in the Treyarch side right now, but the accuracy is so close. It's neck and neck.
It's so difficult to get any sort of consistent combo on the board on a map like this, and Treyarch is doing just that. And this is what you really need to see, right? We're not in the KIs yet. We're not in the disc spikes yet. The disc spikes, completely unhittable. We're not expecting anybody to hit it. So generating solid combo in the off KIs, in the downtimes of this map, which this map has quite a few of, is going to be very, very important in giving you that sense of security going into the more trickier sections of the map. And right now, Treyarch is doing just that, right? These players neck and neck in terms of the accuracy, but in terms of the combo, this is the Treyarch show. It's 500 and growing in favor of the right side right now, and that's going to be a 40%, the 40k score lead going in favor of the right side, and it's only going to continue to go up and up and up as Saiyku finds yet another miss. Going to the zigzag, can he hit it? No, he cannot, but that's going to be more than enough of a gap created going into the second half of the map. Ladies and gentlemen, look at what Treyarch is showing on screen. I mean, 64k and counting with no recovery on the side of Saiyku. It might be lights out for him on this pick.
Yeah, I mean, Treyarch just, again, blowing my expectations out of the water with that combo again. Just such a huge combo and has built up 60k score that's like he has to try and claw back. And honestly, I don't know if there's going to be enough time to do it. If Treyarch keeps holding the way he is, they are so close in combo. There is not much of an advantage for Saiyku to build into at the moment. And we see that Saiyku break. I think that's going to seal it. Treyarch finding a chain miss there, but there's nothing on the side of Saiyku to try and recover. And I think we're going to see a tiebreaker, Gabby.
I think he's done it. Yeah, I mean, it's still too early to say for sure. But there's still a quarter of the map left, and with the most intensive sections of the map, you know, a chain miss could cause the scoreline to swing. But Treyarch, gamble after gamble after gamble. Oh my goodness, Lust. I can't sit. I can't sit still. I can't sit still.
They say, always gamble, Gabby. Always gamble.
Always take the gamble. Oh my goodness, the world is watching Treyarch pull the comeback of a lifetime. And as we move into the very tail end of this No Mod 3, ladies and gentlemen, we are going the Palace of Melancholia.
Oh my days.
Oh my goodness.
I can't believe what I'm seeing right now. What is going on in this match?
I'm telling you,
Absolute cinema.
this is masterful picking from Treyarch. I've never seen a more unique strategy in a 1v1 tournament. Picking strategy is not something that people oftentimes talk about, right? It's usually something that only coaches, only OWC coaches, only casters really talk about, only analysts really talk about. But it's clear as day here that Treyarch knew what he was doing at every step of the way. He limited Saiyku's options one by one and had the mental high ground every single time. And here we are at the very end. Oh my goodness. I need a breather. Hold up. I need a sip of water. I need an Emrek buff. Holy crap.
Yeah, we are gonna see Saiyku taking that time out as well. Obviously, those nerves were showing on both sides. Absolutely incredible shakes.
Yep.
And
That's
yeah,
right.
receiving word, whoever wins this is guaranteed to get a Wooting 60 HEV2 and a Pulsar mouse and a Yuki A mouse pad. It all comes down to the tiebreaker right now, whether you get such a big prize.
Exactly right. I mean, the stakes are as high as it can get here. It's as high as it can get thus far in the Oceanic Cup. But of course, we're talking about the prizes. Huge shoutouts to our lovely partners for this event. It's going to be Wooting, Yuki M, and Pulsar. Very, very lovely. Huge shoutouts to them. Oceanic Cup would not have been possible, and it wouldn't have been possible to fund the large magnitude of prizes without our lovely partners here. So do hop on by and check them out. I'm sure these companies are no stranger to you guys, and I'm sure you can find a lot of value in their products. But of course, let's talk a little bit about what's happening here. If you're Saiyku in this position, I know we've been talking a lot about Treyarch, but if you're Saiyku in this position, imagine the mental toll that this player in the name of Treyarch has caused you. You were at match point. You were 3 points up. And one by one, Treyarch took every single part of that lead apart. And now he's threatening tiebreaker against you. And when you take this into context in terms of the skill sets, right? This is a multi-skill set map featuring BPM changes, featuring a lot of alt patterns, flow aim, tech, and even some mechanics at the very end of the map. you really don't know if you're favored going into this map. You don't know if you're disadvantaged going into this map. There is so much you don't know. There is so much fog of war of your Saiyku here that even if you practice this map, there is no telling how a pick like this will go, right? And given how close every single point has been thus far, I mean, there's nothing we can say. Like, if you're Saiyku in this position, you are feeling so nervous. You have something to lose, being the player, you know, the only New Zealand player left in the tournament, being seed 13, making it all the way to finals weekend, the final match of finals, the third place match of the tournament, being seed 13 and climbing so far. There is a lot on the line for Saiyku that we are not talking enough about. And that just works against him. Being a player in such a disadvantageous position, being a player that was just this close to lowering the guillotine but not quite being able to close it out. I mean, oh my goodness, Lust. I can only imagine the pressure that's going through Saiyku's head right now.
Yeah, because if you're in treyarch's position, you've just brought this back. You've just won 3 points in a row to bring it back to tiebreaker. You have all the momentum right now, and Saiyku, the immense pressure that he'd be feeling. Him typing in the chat, yeah, it's kind of cooked, man. So definitely feeling the nerves getting to him right now. And I believe spending that time out to practice this tiebreaker and not looking too confident. So that's not how you want to be feeling going into this tiebreaker when you are realistically the higher ranked player, the more skill set player, the more skill cap player, sorry. You want to be able to be more comfortable in this, but he doesn't seem like he is.
Treyarch, right? The superstar in terms of the control during this entire tournament. I think that not many people knew about him going into this tournament, but he has more than proven his name throughout the entirety of the Oceanic Cup. And this is what he needs to do. This is the tallest feat that Treyarch will have to overcome. And at the very end of these 5 minutes and 45 seconds, we see one person go home, and we see one person guarantee themselves a spot in Grand Finals weekend. Ladies and gentlemen, a lot of you guys know this song. Of course, the tournament has since then been lost to date, but this is a very, very famous song. As the energy builds up in the lobby, every single one of these players know what is at stake. We move into the intro sections of the map, and already I can only imagine what these players must be feeling. So, without further ado, it's for all the marbles right here. There are no more takebacks, no more what if, no more maybes. It is time to perform. So with that, I present to you Katagiri, Palace of Melancholia.
Already so early on, but Saiyku finding the first break. He is neck and neck with treyarch in that accuracy. But this map is so long, so difficult, and there's still so much combo to go. This early break shouldn't be too big of a factor, hopefully. But getting into this, treyarch is still holding 700 combo deep now. He's in the advantage by 10k already, and Saiyku needs to just do his best to stabilize here. We can't see too many combo breaks early on, especially not from a player that is already down. So he does have to do his best to try and stabilize, try and build back their recovery. He is on 99% accuracy.
I mean, as if the story couldn't write itself better, right? Saiyku is in fact the one holding a 99.13% accuracy in this most pivotal pick. We're seeing a reversal of history right now, and he's still keeping it close because of that. Treyarch, of course, is going to go to the 1k mark, moving into the tech section of the map. A lot of weird one-ter patterns coming to attack these players, and Saiyku is going to be the first one to succumb. Not going to be looking good if you're a Saiyku fan, as Treyarch is going to look to widen the scoreline further and further as we move past this first quarter of the map. And he's only going to continue to go up. That blade is getting sharper and sharper, and a 40k score lead is definitely not what you want to see on a 5-minute long map like this. That's going to be a pretty big task to ask. Coming back from this is going to be a pretty big task for Saiyku to overcome here, but Treyarch is going to find that miss. That is going to be a stop to the bleeding, but that is a 55k score lead with not enough juice from Saiyku.
I mean, what is treyarch doing right now? What has he just pulled out of his bag? That huge combo has already 60,000 in the lead. Saiyku has nothing to answer for it at the moment, and he does keep finding these slider breaks repeatedly on these absolutely brutal slider shapes. Saiyku has nothing. He has nothing in the bag. And treyarch, again, combo advantage. And there's 60k to try and claw back if you're Saiyku. What can you do right now? You just have to try and play your best, but treyarch is just blowing him out of the water. Treyarch fully exceeding everyone's expectations. I mean, you look at the predictions, treyarch was 83% favored versus 17% in Saiyku's favor. And treyarch is blowing everyone's expectations out of the water right now.
That's right. I mean, we're moving into the next section of the map. This section is a lot more mechanically intensive, right? It's a lot of flowing, so your entry and exit of each and every single one of these aim patterns is going to be put to the test. There is no form of consistency to be desired from anybody in the lobby, and with that, stagnation is going to hit the board, only favoring the player that has held that early lead in the early game of this map. It's going to be treyarch as the scoreboard opens up yet again. We're moving into another section of the map. And we're moving into, you know, a bit more tech, you know, a bit more mechanics, and it's gonna be some time for Saiyku to make up this deficit. With that miss from coming in from treyarch, Saiyku is now holding about a 400 combo lead over his adversary. But how far can he take this lead? That is gonna be the main question. And culling is coming as intended, but it's not gonna come fast enough as we move into the last third of the map, and time is running out. The clock is ticking. Saiyku needs to make this comeback, and he cannot afford to find the miss. But as we move into the very end of the KI, the ending sections of the KI, Saiyku is still standing. It's not over.
There's still time, ladies and gentlemen, still a third of the map to go, and Saiyku's in the advantage of that combo. Nails!
Oh no!
There's still so much time, and we could see a comeback of the ages right now.
Oh my goodness, if you are watching at home right now, whoever you're rooting for, cross your fingers, cross your toes, because the only consistency on a map like this is chaos. We're going into the final KI of the map. This is the most mechanically intensive section. treyarch is currently 600 combo, but Saiyku is standing tall of 800, but with a trade coming in from both of these players, 30k gonna go in favor of treyarch and gonna stay in favor of treyarch, moving into the very end. Last quarter of the map, this is the last time for magic to happen, but there really isn't any combo to be desired from the entirety of the lobby. I mean, what can you even do when you're on the Corsair's Open 2021 Grand Finals tiebreaker? This ending of the map so incredibly devious, so incredibly diabolical, not just in its aim, not just in its mechanics, but in its slider intensity. As the map slowly but surely builds down, only misses fill the battlefield on the left side, and meanwhile, treyarch continuing to hold the high ground that he has persistently held throughout the entirety of this match. For the first time, we're seeing treyarch decisively hold his own and stand tall against someone who's been bullying him time and time again when it came to the speed. For once, treyarch marks his name and cements himself on the Oceanic Cup's podium as I present to you treyarch, the winner of the finals match of the weekend. With that, treyarch gets a ticket to Grand Finals.
Absolute cinema, and so well played by both players. But what an effort from treyarch we've just seen, coming back, being down 6-3, and then coming back all the way to win 6-7, taking that tiebreaker. Can you believe it? Guaranteeing himself a lovely Wooting 60 V2, a UKA mousepad, and a pulsar mouse. Now, what an incredible display of talents from both players. But treyarch, I think he's just proven himself at how good he really is at this game, and how he's just cemented a spot into the OWC team. I mean, if you're looking at this, can you really say to yourself, there's anyone else you would put on the OWC team other than treyarch right now? That has just been absolutely incredible from him.
This guy, man, I think I casted his very first match in round of 16, and it wasn't looking the best, right? It was looking pretty rough. It was looking pretty rough for him. I knew treyarch as the guy who really struggled in terms of mental, and even in round of 16, he went to tiebreaker against Saiyku. This is not the first time this has happened, by the way. This is not the first time this has happened. He won, of course, on that matchup, which kept him in the winner's bracket, but from the very beginning, I saw him losing to the Seed 13 opponent, and I saw the way that he crumbled. I saw the way that he struggled as Saiyku continued to take points on him throughout the course of that match, and I was worried for him. I didn't know this player. I'm not very familiar with the Oceanic scene, so I didn't know this player, but I think seeing him play today has really given me a lot of insight into this player's tenacity and this player's work and this player's dedication. I'm not exaggerating when I say I've never seen a more unique strategy from any player in any 1v1, in any team tournament as well. I've never seen a player willingly and confidently hold his head up high in the face of adversity and play into his weaknesses and lose with stride and losing with stride. I've never seen a player this dedicated, and I've never seen a player who's willing to take as many risks as this guy has. So I am extremely overjoyed that Treyarch was the one to take it home today. But of course, commiserations to Saiyku, the lone New Zealand representative in this finals. Oh, no, actually, I don't know if he's the lone one, but I know he's the furthest reaching New Zealand player, a New Zealander in the Oceanic Cup, and I think he's a very good indication of the Cinderella story, the development that New Zealand has shown as a country, not just in the Oceanic Cup, not just in individual players, but in the World Cup series as a whole. So I think, despite the fact that it is going to be goodbye, commiserations to Saiyku, it's not the end for him, and I think he's most definitely going to be the front runner and the spearhead. He's going to be at the helm when it comes to pushing the talent in New Zealand in the years to come. But of course, any last words from you before we close things off?
Not too much more to say that we haven't already said. I mean, I can't believe it. Absolute cinema that we have just seen today, Gammy Crayola. What an amazing match, and I was just overjoyed to be able to be part of it with you.
Oh my goodness. I mean, even in the casting booth, I don't think either of us could have anticipated just the sheer scale of intensity that this match would bring us. But I am all the more happy. Even if it was a bit scuffed, I am all the more happy to have been here. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, before we go, huge shoutouts once again to our sponsors, Wooting, Pulsar, and Yuki Aim. I believe Pulsar is the mouse company, Yuki Aim is the mousepad company, I believe. And of course, Wooting, you already know them. They're the keyboard, they're the keypad guys. So do go check them out if you're interested in getting any one of those new products. I'm sure they'll be more than capable of giving you your money's worth. And of course, until then, I think this is a good time to end. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, huge shoutouts to Flapjack for being our lovely streamer. Huge shoutouts to Lust for being my lovely co-cast for this match. And with that, my name has been Gamili or Gammy Crayola. You were watching the Oceanic Cup, and we'll see you in the final week. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.